Hey guys, it's John for Hodgepodge Homestead. Pantry chat number 3. This is pretty cool. I think I'm going to jump right in to answer some questions that I got from the last pantry chat. Number 1, no, my cast iron doesn't rust down here. This is pretty dry down here. It stays pretty constant. In the summer, it's right around 70, 75. The humidity may go up and down. But this time of year, January, right now, we're hovering right around between 40 and 45 degrees most of the time down here. The door behind me is where my well house is, and that's where I store my charcuterie meats are hanging in there. I do have a little well house pump that I put down there that I'll turn on for a couple hours, 2 or 3 times a day, just to keep that a little warmer in there, mainly for my well pump and such. And I did get another comment on the possibility of putting a hand pump well in here. My plans for this summer are to do a diamond tip well out in one of my barns outside. So that way it'll be a siphon type well, you know, where you have to siphon it and pump the water up. But I think that'll do me good. My static water level is about 30 feet. So I should actually be able to get water in about 20 to 25. So anyway, let's see. Okay, so today's, I think today's chat's going to be about how to start a pantry. You know, you don't necessarily have to have the room I have right now. This is my 4th pantry since I've been doing it. You know. I've had my pantries in utility rooms. I've had them in a laundry room. My last house, it was terrible. It was dark. I had rickety shelves. I had lots of stuff down there, but I finally got fortunate in the place we bought, and it had this here. And as soon as I walked into this house, I said, this is going to be my pantry. And here we are. It is my pantry. I should say our pantry. You know, it's our pantry. It's not mine. But I mean, the important thing is you can do this. You can have a pantry anywhere in your house. You can have a pantry in a closet. You can have a pantry in totes. You can have a pantry in a spare bedroom. You can have pantry in a hallway, under your beds. As long as you have it, that's the important thing, is to have it. If you need it, you have it. It's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it, I always say. Okay, let's see. I've got my notes here, and as usual, just like me, my notes are messed up. Okay, you don't have to have a pantry to start off, okay? I mean, you have to start somewhere. You just can't all of a sudden jump into having 1,000 jars of canned food in your house, okay? But there are easy ways to start, and I'm going to give you some of those easy tips right now. Number 1, store what you eat in your pantry. You know, if you don't like peas, don't store peas. But my wife loves peas, so we have peas. We have peas. You wanna start out. You go to your sales at your stores. A lot of times here in Michigan, we'll have what they call a 10 for 10 sale. These cans right behind me, they're all 50 cents a can. So for $2, you know, you can come home with 4 cans of food. My soups right over here, they're usually 50 cents a can. They're cream of mushroom, cream of chicken, chicken and noodle, tomato. Those are all the basic soups that we eat. You don't have to have the big fancy, I don't even know what they're called. These are just the single little, like, you know, Campbell cans, but they're Great Value brand or Dollar General brand or whatever. They're all condensed. They're all not the greatest soups for you. But when you need some soup, you know, you've got some soup. And they're cheap. It's a cheap way to put things on your shelf. When you have, like, in your refrigerator, you got a jar of pickles. Don't throw that jar away. Save that jar, because that jar is good later on down the road in your pantry to put dry goods in. You don't want to can with them mainly. I mean, people used to back in the day, but jars were made different back in the day. I remember, my mom canning in mayonnaise jars. Well, you just can't do that anymore. It's not safe. The glass is different. But yeah, save all those jars. You can store lots of things in the jars you get, and most of those rings, the caps you have them have little rubber ring in the top of them. Well, that's to help them seal. So you can seal, you can get some oxygen absorbers, put in your jars for your dry goods. And I'm talking dry goods, I'm talking your oatmeals, your Bisquick, rice, noodles, flour, that kind of stuff, that you want to store so animals don't get into it. Okay, your some more dry packaged foods, your Bisquick pancake mix, beans and rice. You can store your beans in those kind of jars. You don't necessarily have to store your dry goods in mason jars, but I've been doing this so long now that I've just got a lot of mason jars. And where to find mason jars? Let's go there real quick. Once garage sale season kicks in, go to garage sales. And you know what? If they don't have them out on their tables, say, hey, you got any mason jars? A lot of times they'll say, yeah, I do. And they'll usually get rid of them pretty cheap. If you pay, I'd say less than 50 cents a jar, you're doing really, really well. Sometimes you can get a whole big box of jars. That happened to me at Goodwill one time. I stopped in a Goodwill and I got a whole big, I think 30 or 40 jars for $5. Great deal. That was a steal deal. Okay. Another thing that is really good to get for your pantry and is cheap is ramen. Ramen lasts a long time. Again, there's a storage issue with me and ramen because mice can chew through those little bags pretty fast. So I do have some plastic storage totes that I keep those in. And if you go back on one of my pantry tours, you can see those. But they last forever. And you can dice them up with some pretty good seasonings and make them taste a little better than they do too. You want to get different types of noodles. Elbow noodles, the macaroni noodles, spaghetti noodles, the egg noodles. All those store really well, and they're usually pretty cheap. Pasta sauces are a great thing to have too, because you got all those noodles, right? Get some pasta sauces, buy the Prego or whatever, and then you've got all your jars for your spices right here too. So I think I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I've got 11 jars of salt or of Prego spaghetti sauce over there, all different kinds. And like I said, we've made spaghetti sauce before from tomatoes from our garden, and it's a very, very, very long process. And a lot of times I haven't perfected that yet, and I haven't got it to thicken. And I can stand there and wait and wait and wait and wait and wait, and it just doesn't thicken for me yet. So I'm managing it. I'm going to get there, and then one day I won't have to buy Prego anymore unless I need some more spice jars, and then I'll buy Prego. Okay, gravy mixes. Gravy mixes are another dry product that you can buy. They're easy to store. You can store gravy mixes just like I store my dried potatoes. These are like the Idahoan little bags. Oh, the Great Value sells them now for 62 cents a bag. My son will come down here, grab one of these, and have it for lunch. They've got all different flavors, 4 cheese, buttery. Let's see, I got sour cream and chives over there, roasted garlic, butter herb, all different kinds, and they're all very good. 62 cents a bag. The Idahoans are $1 a bag, but I see no difference. I taste no difference. There's no texture difference. Walmart's got it going on there. Okay, another good thing to get to start your pantry off is some canned meat. Canned chicken, canned beef. Sometimes that's a little pricey, $2.99 a can, but it's a pretty good serving. Another really good one is tuna fish. You can get lots of tuna fish for not a lot of money. You don't have to buy the Star-Kissed or the Charlie tuna, real expensive kind. If it's packed in water, they're all the same. They're all packed at the same place. Just put a different label on them. Out the door they go. Another good thing to have stored is peanut butter. Peanut butter lasts a long time. It's a good source of protein. But along with that peanut butter, you better have some saltine crackers stored. And I know Lisa on Sutton's Day, she actually cans saltine crackers. Isn't that crazy? Puts them in a jar, puts an oxygen absorber in there. Okay, I got a phone call. I didn't think about phone calls when I'm doing videos. But anyway, I was on peanut butter and Lisa Sutton canning her crackers. Yeah, you can your crackers. They're always going to be good. Throw an oxygen absorber in there. Oxygen absorbers are great things to have in your pantry too for the dry stuff that you end up getting. Jellies. You want to have some peanut butter and jelly because that's a good thing to have on hand is a jelly. You know, you got the grandkids come over or you run out of stuff for lunches, boom, right down to your pantry, grab some jelly, lunch is saved. Okay, another good thing to have down in your pantry are candies. You know, M&Ms or whatever type of candy you really like to have it in your pantry because that's a comfort food. It'll make you feel good when times aren't that great. You also want to have your coffees, your teas, things like that. That's a later thing. You know, when you're first getting started, you want to have the necessities. You want to have the things that's going to make you a meal today. Okay, so another good thing to get would possibly be some broth, some chicken or beef or vegetable stock, something like that, to help flavor some things a little bit. When you make rice, instead of using water, use a little bit of vegetable or chicken stock. It's really, really good. We've got probably 40 quarts of chicken stock up there. I've got venison stock. We make a lot of stock out of stuff. It goes a long way. It's good for you and things like that. Okay, another thing, like I said, was start saving all your jars. You know, talk to people at work. Say, hey, anybody used to can, don't can anymore. I'm looking for jars. You'd be surprised how often that'll come up and you can get some. You know, jars aren't cheap. Doing a pantry, it's like extending your grocery shopping. So it does cost a little bit of money, but if you do it each time you go, like the next time you go to the store, say I want to bring home 4 extra cans of soup. And then the next time you go, bring home 4 extra cans of vegetables or fruit. And you'll really be surprised how quickly it adds up. You know, you stop into the Dollar General just to grab something quick, we'll go over the soup aisle, grab 4 cans of soup or 4 cans of vegetables. Sometimes they're like the corn there is usually two for $1 and things like that. I usually don't spend more than 50 cents on a can of vegetables because I know I can find it for that. So another real simple thing that you wanna have is that's good for your pantry to start off is some extra flour, some extra sugar, and some extra salt. Be it brown sugar, white sugar. Steer away from the iodized salts. Try to get the natural, just plain salt. Or we use a lot of sea salt, and I get it granulated, and I also get it in the little bigger chunks, because that's all good to have. Let's see, what else is really good to have in your pantry food-wise? Yeast. You want to have a lot of yeast stored because that's good for making your breads, your rolls, things like that. So yeah, getting down here in the pantry, you've got, I kind of break my pantry down into 4 different things, 5 different things maybe. I've got my meats, I've got my vegetables, my spices, my soups, or my canned goods, my store-bought canned goods, my store-bought soups, and I've also got jarred soups that we make a big pot of something and you eat it for a day or 2 days or 3 days, and then you don't want to waste it, so instead of throwing it away, you can it. Especially when you don't have pigs, and I don't have pigs right now, I will come spring, and they'll get most of our leftovers. But yeah, there's things like, if you break your pantry down into different sections, that'll kind of help you figure out what you need. And you want to figure out, okay, if you've got a husband, a wife, 2, 3 kids, how many cans of soup does that take for a meal? Like if you want to do, let's say you want to do, a cheese sandwich, grilled cheese sandwich, nothing goes better with grilled cheese than tomato soup. How many cans of tomato soup would it take for lunch for your kids and your family one time? So if you go today and you buy 4 cans of soup and it takes 2, you know, that's how fast it goes. So that's why I say, if you do this every time you go to the store, buy a couple extra, you know, you'll be really surprised how fast things add up. But you'll also be surprised how quickly they go away. So it's always good to have in your mind, okay, I use this much. And that's why I've got my door right here. I've got all my products that are down here, whether they're quarts, pints, half pints, miscellaneous. Miscellaneous would be like my gallons of flour or my cans of store-bought soups or vegetables. If I take 2 out of here for dinner, I change the chalk -2. And then I keep a rolling tally of how many I've gone through for the year. And then that will tell me in the beginning of the season, okay, this is how many I used last year. That's how many I've got to keep track of, you know. So another thing that's really good to keep in your pantry is like if you like syrups, things like that. You know, they're expensive, but it's good to have them, especially if you've got a bunch of pancake mix or, you know, things like that. Syrup, honey is really good. It lasts a long time. We keep our lard down here. We can butter. We keep our butter down here, and especially this time of year when it's, you know, 40. It's pretty chilly down here today. What is it? It's a little over 40 degrees. But yeah, so again, don't look at a lot of the pantries on YouTube and say, my goodness, I'm never going to be able to have that. I always had it. I just didn't have it like this. I mean, I'm really proud of what we've done here, but this took a long time. And like I said, this is 1, 2, 3. This is the 4th house that Heather and I have had together. And it's the best place for a pantry that we've had. So we're pretty proud of it, and we enjoy what we're able to bring to other people because of this pantry and because of the way that we have chose to live our lives and do things. And that's another subject that we can talk about later, is what you decide to do to make a pantry happen in your life. So we'll get there. We'll get there. But again, start off slow, start off small, start off with a goal in mind. Where do you want to be? Let's do something here. It is almost the end of January. So if you're just starting out with a pantry, let's see where you're going to be in your pantry, let's say September 1. So that's, what, 7 months away? Let's see where we all go in September, at September 1. So I challenge you guys to get a pantry going, and let's figure out where you're going to be in September. All right? So I think that's probably going to be it for today. I'm trying to see if there's anything else I need to bring up about beginning pantry storage. And not seeing it right now, but anyway, I think that'll be it for this one. If you guys have any comments or any suggestions for further pantry chats, feel free to put them in the bottom. And I am trying to answer every comment I get, but we're in the middle of Canuary, which is a collaboration we're doing in the month of January, and we're getting a lot of comments on that. And like I say, I'm trying to answer every comment, and I'm slow when it comes to working on a computer because I'm you know, I didn't grow up with them. I never went to them. I never had a job where I needed to use one, so I'm really slow at it. But I'm getting there, and I will try to answer every single question, comment, whatever. But anyway, we'll say goodbye for today. And here at Hodgepodge Homestead, we love getting people started on their pantries and helping them out with their pantries, and you guys should too. See y'all later.